becoming more and more common whenever I do a cook stream, whether I'm doing it with, put the butter in a small saucepan and hold it over a stove until it's softened. I could do that, but I don't think I'm ready for the stove yet. So instead, I'm taking this bowl and I'm putting it next to where the sun is so that the sun can warm it. It's better for the environment if I do it that way anyway. So yeah. But as I was asking before, unfortunately the chat disappeared for me while I'm on my phone. But how is the rest of how are your lives doing? I should say also, it's starting to smell a lot like butter. And that is, it's not the worst smell in the world, but it's also a little bit strange to smell butter just at random. This is not good. Let go. Butter. Alright, we're gonna make this a very easy problem to fix.
I don't know if you can...
Oh, shit.
It's slippery on account of all the butter. I don't know if you can see the butter, but we're fixing this problem now.
Shit!
Okay, it's as loosened as it's going to be.
Cast heat metal on the fork. I could put the fork next to a stove. Yes! This is not... Let go. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to say that that's about as heated as it's probably going to get, as softened as it's probably going to get for now. And then we're gonna take it back upstairs. Yeah. Well, it looks like you're getting ready to just straight up eat a bowl of butter like cereal.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't I? That's Hey. There we go. Okay, we got the bowl again. All right. So now we're back in the kitchen where we are gonna take this. Now I always try to keep my apartment at a nice warm temperature, but my roommate likes it colder, so every once in a while I'll go back into the apartment and I'll be freezing my balls off, and I'll wonder, hey, when did he change that? But yeah, so that's where we are right now. That's that. Now it's really it's got the texture right now of multiple sticks of butter that have been a little bit smashed into each other. And that's not the texture that we're looking for exactly, but it is the texture where we're ready to put in the next bit. And the next bit is going to be a 1/4 teaspoon of dark molasses. So we're going to take a 1/4 teaspoon. Now we need a teaspoon. Where's the rest of my teaspoons? Where did those go? There they are. It's just going to be a 1/4 teaspoon of dark molasses. We've got grandma's robust molasses. And let's see if that helps anybody. So I'm going to real quickly just hold up for just a quick second. Oh, that's sticky. Oh! That smells awful. Okay. So we're just going to take this, dip it in there, and I'm not going to lie, I don't want this to get anywhere near my counter, so I'm just going to do this on my own. You can imagine what it looks like. Oh god. Oh, it looks like it has the viscosity of melted chocolate, but it is not melted chocolate, and you should not be fooled. Okay. So we've dipped that in there. Oh boy. Alright, yeah. So now this is starting to look like some vanilla ice cream with chocolate frosting. I'm actually going to put a little bit more into this. Just a little bit more, because I'm worried that it didn't actually get too much in there. So we're going to take that. I'm going to scrape that off the side so that I don't have to worry about cleaning my counters later. And yeah, as it is molasses, it is refusing to come out. It's as slow as is a snail. And that is that. That's that in there. I'm gonna wash that real quick, so I don't have to touch this molasses anymore. You can see that's some of the molasses going into the drain. Sure, I won't have to worry about that later. And out of fear for the life of my shirt, I'm going to have to resort to our secondary wiping implement, which is this napkin that I've just found just now. And that's that. Yeah, okay. And now that it looks like the molasses has been wiped off, I'm gonna use our Dabby Chappy brand tablecloth. And that's that. All right, it's looking pretty dry. So we're gonna actually just take a little bit of our Nord spices that we've ground up from before. If you remember that little journey, I hope that you have been able to go on that journey alongside us. Take it, dump it around. Now that looks like a lot more spices than it does molasses, so we're just gonna pop that in there. That could be washed just a little bit so we don't mix our spices with our molasses, especially since it's got cloves. If I want to use that later, I'm fine with doing a bit. I don't want to kill people. Alright, that's going to be our Dabby Chappy brand tablecloth right there. And then I'm actually going to put just a little bit more molasses in because I can tell this isn't enough. Like, it's not all going in. A bunch of it is just going back into the molasses bowl. Or into my sink when I clean this thing off. So I'm going to take that and dump. Just get in there. That's enough molasses. That's definitely enough right there. Good. All right. So I'm going to wash that. Clean, 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 clean. All right. And now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that this is ready to go. But I do know better, and so I'm going to mix it a little bit. Close Grandma's molasses. It's the gold standard of molasses, they say. Okay, give me a second. Gotta tighten it. And I'm gonna put it right back in the refrigerator, right next to the ketchup. Good job. Okay. And now, all that's left to do is take this, which... God, you just don't let go, do you? All right, I'm gonna take this. If I had like a whisking implement, or even two, if I had two hands, here's what I'm gonna do. How are you? Wait, I'm gonna prop it. How are you today? I'm just gonna do this for now at least. Hello, stream. How are you? I'm well. That's good. So, one thing that I'm learning today is that butter is a clingy bitch. Oh, it'll act like it just wants to be your friend. It just wants to be a nice, useful cooking implement. But when it comes down to it, it doesn't like to let go. Doesn't like to let go. Doesn't like to help out any with you cooking. Doesn't want. All it really wants to do is make you look like a fool, so that later it can swoop in and be all like, "Yeah, of course you're a fool, because you're awful, and no one will ever really love you." And you're gonna listen to the butter, of course, because it's butter. It knows best. Yeah, that's how the saying goes. And then you're gonna think, "Hey, was it really a good idea to be an internet personality?" Sometimes you'll say no. Sometimes you'll say yes. But there are going to be those times where you'll think, maybe if I had just made one choice different, I wouldn't have ended up in the place I'm in now. But if I didn't make those choices, I wouldn't be in a place with spiced butter. And that is just the best place to be right now. Still smells so much like butter. It smells a lot like molasses. And I'm sure I can probably smell some of the something else that went in there as well. It's got a very specific smell to it. something akin to, how do I put it? It's like when you go to your grandmother's and you open up the candy jar, and the only things left are the tapiocas and the butters, and you try to go and grab one because you're a child, and then when you grab onto what you expect to be a hard candy, it actually goes squish. And that's a lot like what this smells like. But as I mix, honestly, I feel like for the first time, I'm starting to do this correctly. Definitely would use two hands. One hand gang, I appreciate you, I respect you, and all the good you have done for the world. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with two hands if possible. When applicable, two hands are pretty nice. And this is one of those times when it's completely applicable. It is turning into like the sort of off tan color that it looked like in the picture, which to me makes me feel like I maybe did this right. There's a chance I did this right. Of course, I could have done it wrong by using incorrect ingredients or salting too much after the fact. But with the exception of the back of this fork, which looks like it's just absolutely drenched in molasses, and that worries me because it makes me feel like the molasses didn't actually get inside of the butter properly, I'm actually in a place where I believe I did a pretty good job. In a second, I'm just going to show you the fruits of my labor, and then all that's left to do is taste it. All that's left to do is taste it. All right. So I'm going to say that I did this for about enough time. There we go. All right. It's looking more like what's that thing that you put on fish? Like, I don't remember what the sauce is, but this is looking like the sauce that you put on fish. You know the one. I don't want to say it out loud because then I will think about that and I will feel worried. But we've done it. We're doing it. And it's done. Okay. Okay. So, let's take this. Alright, and as you can see, the consistency has actually done really well. So, I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. I'm going to scoop the rest of this just right off the fork. Right off of that fork. Let's just get that off that fork. The fork doesn't need any butter, only humans need butter. And yeah, there we go. The only thing left to do is taste this. So I'm going to wash this fork out. I'm going to wash it a little bit, let it soak. Probably going to put it inside of the washer once I get it clean enough. I'll do that later. You don't need to know exactly how I wash my dishes. It's a trade family secret. Daddy Chappie taught me how to wash dishes. And if you look right here, it appears that something might be clogging our drain. And that's its own problem. Drainage is a serious issue that we have to deal with sometimes here on this show. But I'll fix it eventually. Won't be today, but hey. You live and learn, you know? And so I'm going to take this concoction that we've created here. This thing that we have worked together to make. This is our fault. And then, so I've got this. I'm going to put it right over here. And move some stuff out of the way. This is my Honorable Knight Mini, by the way. I just want to show you this. I'm very proud of the fact that I own a $70 Mini. And then next to it is a little Infernal Hell Machine. And when I say little, I mean, like, this is the size of my hand. This thing's bigger than my hand. So, it's pretty big. And over here we've got an Eberron airship. Those don't have anything to do with cooking butter, but That's just something I wanted to mention. I felt proud of that, and I wanted you to be proud for me. Be proud of me, even. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take my veggie straws. I actually eat these when I'm not trying to do a bit. And we're gonna take these veggie straws, we're gonna dip them into that butter. And if it turns out well, this might be a good snack to do, when you're, having a lonely night. Because, we're in a pandemic, and, nobody really wants to hang out with you, even if they could. All of the friends that you usually hang out with haven't messaged you for months. And the friends that you do hang out with are all online, and most of them don't even like you anymore. But hey, yeah, I'm gonna open this. I'm actually gonna let me just prop this right here. In fact, here's a better idea. I'm gonna flip this. Hey, what's up? How are you? That's great. So I'm gonna take these veggie straws. And yeah, let's butter this biscuit. Take a straw. Boom. And yeah, let's get a dip right in here. Let's just really show off one of the dips. It's right there. Mix it up, pull it out. That's a nice glob. All right, time to see if this worked out. So, how do I word this? Do you know the feeling where you call out into a cave and your voice echoes back at you? The butter feels like the echo part. It feels like the culmination of a bunch of things that used to exist, but now, through horrible, horrible changes to its composition, it is just a shadow. And then the echo disappears, and all you're left with is whatever you dipped into it. So let's go for another bite to see if maybe that was just a weird thing. You know what this needs? This needs more seasoning. Because if I had to, take a guess... okay, so, being real, let me be a little bit more real. It's not... Yeah, so you taste the butter, and then you taste molasses. You don't really taste the seasoning that is meant to make it into a dish besides just butter and molasses. I don't know why I'm still eating it. It doesn't taste like anything, because butter doesn't have a very important taste to it on its own. Honestly, I think I'm just eating it because it's, in front of me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting. Let's flip this over. Where did I put my spoons? There they are. I'm going to actually... So, this is for science. That needs more of something. I assume what it needs more of is this Nord spice right over here. That just stands to reason for me. So I'm actually going to take some of the Nord spice that's in here. And look, we've got about another fourth. I feel like if I dumped more molasses into it, it stands to reason that maybe dumping a little bit more of the Nord spice might help it out as well. Because right now, it needs more of something, or else it's just not going to be a good thing of butter. And especially considering my failures at being able to properly get it out just because I've been doing this whole thing with one hand. Alright, there we go. It doesn't taste... It tastes bad, yes, but not like... It tastes bad in a weird way. It tastes bad in a, there's not enough of the thing that needs to be in here, and so I just taste the things that you don't want to taste, like butter and molasses. So that's that. I've already washed my fork, but that's disgusting. I'm gonna not use that anymore. Instead, what we're gonna use is, not the chopstick. Do we have a... Knife. What about my knife? Do I have... We're gonna use this knife here. And yeah, I'm just gonna mix this, and as I mix it, we're gonna talk a little bit. Needs more ghost pepper. Who the hell said that? Is that Steve?
Who said that? Zero love.
That's a lot of words to say that it's butter plus. It really is just butter plus. It's you taste butter and molasses, and you don't taste everything else that that was supposed to go into it. So I'm mixing this thing up. I'm gonna move it up a little bit. But yeah, so I'm actually making this off of the Elder Scrolls cookbook. Making this was a test of two things. Firstly, it was a test to see if I could actually manage to get ingredients on my own properly, and I'm happy to say that that was a rousing success. And then the other bit is a test to see if I can actually just put ingredients together. I probably should have strayed, erred on the side of less molasses than more, if I'm being perfectly honest, just due to the fact that molasses has a very strong, sort of gross, saucy, salty taste to it. Probably should have assumed that it was going to become overpowering, so when I put more in, that might have been an issue. But, hey, it's the first time I've ever done this. In fact, usually I don't go into the kitchen on my own. Also, the butter has finally, coagulated to a point where it is looking like it was supposed to. I know you can't really see it, but it's been, Next time I do this, I'm going to see if I can't find, a whisk or something that was made in order to smooth butter. Because as much as if I'm being perfectly honest, I bought a stick of butter for the bit because I saw that there was smooth butter, but I'm like, you know what? In fact, I do have some smooth butter in the refrigerator, but I did it for the bit because I didn't actually expect it to be as hard as it was. I thought it was going to be a little bit weird, but it was going to be like the Mr. Coffee to me, where it was like, yeah, that's weird, and you probably shouldn't use that, but it got the job done. Instead, it was just very strange. So, oh shit! No, don't be on that side of the bowl. Be on this side of the bowl. And yeah, so now we've got a nice, rounded up thing. And I am ready to be amazed by something. I'm not gonna lick you. So I'm going to take that knife and leave it there just in case I need it later. I'm going to take another one of my veggie straws and we're going to give this thing a number 2, a good old second try. Ah, boy. I remember the days when Ari would look up to me. She would think, wow, that's a very cool role model that I will establish my personality off of in some ways, so that in the future, I will be a cool person as well. Those days have disappeared, but hopefully with this butter business, I can start to bring it back. So here we are. Okay, now this is, as you can see, doo-doot. It's a nice little chunk of butter, of spiced butter. All right, here we go. Now, it might just be the veggie straw, but that was a little bit better. I'm gonna go for another one. I can't tell. I'm just gonna go in with my finger. Wow, you still feel like butter. I don't know what the molasses was supposed to do. Like, give it a salty, weird smell? Yeah, it's a spiced butter. Alright, it's done. Like, so it doesn't taste like butter anymore. I mean, it does, but, like, it tastes a lot less, which is sort of what the goal was. It tastes like the seasonings that I put in there. If I had to take a guess, it would be like... Let me just go a little bit more in. The problem is that it's also a very quick taste. Like, you taste it, and then it disappears. And that's a very strange thing for a dip, I guess, but whatever. It's like... I guess the question for me is why, right? I guess the question for me is why. 'Cause it's not bad, but the taste disappears so quickly, and what's left is butter, which on its own doesn't taste like a whole lot. It tastes like butter. And even the butter, like, that just dissolves in your mouth. That's just what happens. So I'm left wondering what the point of making spiced butter is, because it doesn't go with anything. It's supposed to be used as like a treat for you to dip your food into. I'm confused about why, because even after putting in twice the amount of spice that it wanted you to, I still taste more spice, but it just disappears so quickly. And I guess if you're gonna have, like, ultimately bland things, like, I guess I'm sort of cheated, because veggie straws and even, like, Lay's chips, they overpower you with their taste on purpose. So I guess the thing that you would want to eat with this is something that doesn't taste like a whole lot on its own. But then I guess the question would be, why make the butter in the first place? Right? So yeah, spiced butter. It's not... It fails... It's not bad. It wasn't insulting. I'm gonna give it one last try. I'm demanding that there be some reason for this thing to exist. Validate yourself, butter. It looks like it's supposed to. In fact, it looks a little bit more dotty, which is because I put more of the seasoning in. Maybe if I put less molasses in. Maybe the molasses is destroying any other taste that exists? It is what it is. Spiced butter. 2 out of 10. I'll revisit it when I know what I'm doing. But until then, I feel like 10's a bit much. 2 out of 5. 5 is a good number. Ooh, I could put it on toast. There. You've got me. Let me use this butter the way it was meant to be used. Bread. I'm gonna be wasting one of my slices of bread. When you're a 20-something adult, every slice of bread is valuable. Give me that. I'm gonna take a slice of bread, and I'm gonna use this butter the way that butter was intended. Flip. Howdy. I mean, if you're gonna eat it, it's not wasting, right? I mean, it's sort of wasting when you could just not eat it all at once. Okay, I've got the butter. I'm buttering the bread. I'm not making toast out of this. This thing doesn't deserve as much as it's getting. I'm giving it far too many chances as it is. I'll try this again later with less molasses. Like, I'll just try... I'll play around with it. I know I put in a little bit more molasses just because it didn't look like it had that much. But we will see. And there we go. All right. So as you can see, we've got a piece of bread with all that butter on there, and let's see what we can do with it. And by do with it, I mean put it in our mouths. So I taste it more, because bread brings out the flavor in other things, but also sometimes overpowers it. It depends on whether it's toasted or not. But, so I taste it way more, which allows me to give a better informed opinion. Maybe it's because the veggie straws aren't made of, like, something that butter normally goes onto. It tastes a little bit better. You know what I think it is? I think that the only thing this thing is good for is to put seasoning, put Nord spices on things that Nord spices normally could not get onto because it is a crummy, like, spice. Like, that seems to be what this is for. Because I'm left wondering again, why would I butter this? When, I mean, like, yeah, it just seems, it seems to me the only reason this exists is so that I cannot just pour the seasoning on the table onto this bread, but instead have an implement with which to spread it. Cool, I guess. Cool, I guess. Yeah. It's bread with seasoning on it. Not something I expected to eat, but it is what it is. Yeah, alright. Doesn't change my opinion. Spiced butter, 2 out of 5. It does what it meant to do, but I'm not really sure what it meant to do. So yeah, thank you for being a part of this impromptu stream. I just decided I was going to do it. It made it a lot more difficult to actually do what I was doing, but it doesn't hurt me in the end. So yeah, this just a gentle reminder that I will not be having another stream until Tuesday. That is going to be Tuesday 6 to 9, and then I'll just be continuing my normal streams from there. Hope to see you there. Have a wonderful night. But yeah, davy out.